Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Two Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. Two easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actress Grace Chan with me. So welcome, Grace.
Hi.
I'm so excited. I couldn't even get it out.
It's one of those days.
Well, I've been having a week that way. So just kind of roll with it, I guess.
Exactly.
Some weeks are like that. I told you my nephew's getting married tonight, so I'm all fired up today.
It's an exciting day.
It's an exciting day. Well, Grace, we got a lot to talk about, and we have talked Superman. But before we do, let's talk about you a little bit, because I know you grew up a dancer. Talk a little bit about how you went from dancing into the acting business, and was that always the plan, or had you originally planned to be a dancer?
Yeah, my story is a little bit unique, I think, compared to others, because
Yeah.
I grew up dancing my whole life. I started dancing when I was about 3 years old,
Yeah.
training in multiple different styles. And then as I got older, I was like, oh wait, I really want to do this. It was kind of always my thing.
Yeah.
So honestly, I never expected to get into the acting space in the way that I did. I went to college for dance. I went to Pace University in New York, and that was just the track for me.
Yeah.
But then COVID happened in 2020, and then I ended up just dropping out of school because I was doing Zoom school.
I
All of my
know that happened to a lot of people.
yeah, and it really just honestly changed the course of my life. I would
How
have,
did that work with how do you take Zoom classes if you're in school for dance?
Yeah, it was an interesting time. So I would thankfully my parents have a big basement, so I was able to prop up my computer and then I connected it to my TV so I could see it, the
Oh,
teacher
yeah.
on the screen. And then I have a little dance floor built with a ballet bar. And so I would, they just instruct the combinations on the Zoom and then we have to follow along. And it was
Yeah,
just
that's not ideal though.
no, a lot of dancing is, exchange of energy amongst the people in the room and taking notes from just watching other people. And so that was very difficult. And I did that for about 10 months, I think. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't keep doing this. So I ended up dropping out. And around that time, I had gotten signed to an agency out in Atlanta. It was a dance and acting agency. And so from there, I just started doing a lot of work in the film and commercial space, but as a dancer. And I think getting so much experience on set, you're sitting around for hours, you're watching the actors
Right.
do their thing. And I just started to really fall in love with film around that time. And I didn't expect it, but I was like, wait, I actually really want to do this. And so because of that, I started taking acting classes. And yeah, I really wasn't trying to be an actor
Yeah,
or
but
anything.
you were already there on set. I mean, it's kind of a soft landing because you're there to dance, so it takes some of the pressure off. You're not acting. Um,
Exactly.
so yeah, you can just kind of absorb. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah, I was very much so a sponge in all of the jobs I've done as a dancer. You just sit and observe and you do your part, but then there's so many pieces that go into filmmaking and I was also really interested in the other sides of it too. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah, that is kind of unique. Although there's other dancers that become actresses, of course, but um, usually it's they know ahead of time. You didn't really know till you were on set, and you're like, okay, it's pretty good.
Right. Now, yeah, I'm kind of just like rolling with it right now.
Yeah.
So
I mean, why not? You try it
exactly.
out, and it's usually you don't end up on a big film right away.
Yeah, that was crazy too. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I didn't even know like how big it was going to be even when I was auditioning for it. I honestly forgot about it after I sent in my self tape. So, it really just
Did they let you when you were auditioning? Did they tell you what it was for? That it was for Superman, or was it unknown project or whatever?
yeah, it was under the title called Genesis. So I didn't,
Yeah,
I knew the director was James Gunn, and on the breakdown it had like who was involved. So I knew it was gonna be something big.
yeah.
But I didn't know it was gonna be Superman. I don't think I even knew it was gonna be Superman until like a month or so after or a couple weeks after I even booked the job. Then my friend told me it was he kind of had an inkling, and I was like, oh, like that actually makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's a big role to get right out of the gate. And I know, like I know you danced on Descendants. I
Mhm.
know you were on there, and I know that show because my granddaughter is obsessed with
Yeah,
it
the kids
right
love
now.
it.
Oh my gosh, she's 5, and yeah, and she cheers and she dances. She's in dance, and she just loves it. And
Yeah.
she'll dance along with the show. So yeah, so I knew you were on that one.
Yeah, it's a perfect series for, kids around that age. I think, it was a little after my time, but I can still appreciate it. And it was so fun to be a part of too.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not bad. I've sat and watched some of it with her. It's not
Mhm.
too. I mean, Disney does a pretty good job with the
Yeah.
kids programming, making it so that if you're an adult, it's not excruciating watching. It's
It's
not
still
that bad.
enjoyable.
It's still enjoyable. Yeah, yeah, and of course, when she's enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. So,
Right, right.
when did you find out that you were going to be playing a robot?
So I knew when I received the breakdown for the audition, they had like a bunch of different like roles on the breakdown, but
Yeah.
then I was specifically asked to audition for one of the robots. So when I was taping for it, like I knew who the character was, and obviously they don't give you too much information, and then the sides they give you is not going to be in the actual film. Um, and then in the breakdown, they also said like this character is likely going to be CGI. So they wanted someone who was, more like movement based. And like I was
Right.
able to send in my dance reel. And I think that really helped as well because I was able to, showcase that I don't just like, I talk and act like a
Yeah, yeah,
robot.
yeah.
I
You're not
also
stiff
like,
moving and
yeah, like I can also move. And like as a dancer, you know how to take bodily direction. So I think that
did you
helped.
have to wear like the motion capture suit?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did. So I had like the hat and the whole full body suit with the shoe covers. It was so cute.
I mean, if you're going to play a robot, might as well throw a bunch of stuff on you. Why not?
Right, exactly. And it was fun. Like I had done some CGI work in the past on this film called Lyle Crocodile.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I wasn't like I doubled for one of for Constance Wu, but
Yeah.
I also had kind of helped the choreographer do some of the like previs stuff for the crocodile, and so I had a little bit of experience in it, but this was my first time actually putting on like the full entire suit and like playing the character, so that was really really fun to do.
Yeah, that is pretty great. That is pretty
Yeah.
great. Did you learn anything doubling for her? I mean, it's a pretty good actress.
Yeah, yeah. That was my first time, I believe, doubling for somebody. And that was actually like a really cool experience for me, because I was able to work really closely with the choreographer, and we were able to kind of come up with like I was there throughout the process of him creating the whole dance
Yeah.
scene that I did. And then I was able to help Constance and like give her notes on like the right count or like different like body placements that might help her
Yeah.
dancing, and so that was a really cool experience for me too.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because if you're if you're doubling somebody that doesn't have a very big part, maybe it's not that impactful. But if you're doubling one of the stars,
Mhm.
you could learn a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that was back in like 2021. So that was one, I think that was only like the second film I'd ever done as well. So, I was more of like a baby. in
Yeah.
being at that time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to start somewhere, but the problem with Hollywood, especially, is a lot of times they expect you to know what you're doing when you first show up. And
Exactly.
that can be kind of hard. I mean, sometimes you'll run into somebody that kind of gets it and they'll take a little extra time with you, but a lot of times they just expect you to know.
Yeah, it can be very intimidating. But honestly though, like most of the stuff I've learned that I've been able to like tangibly take into my life and onto other sets, like I've learned on the job. Like
Yeah,
obviously like, I went to school for dance and I, learned a lot in my training from my upbringing, but like you're gonna ultimately learn the most when you're just thrown into the job.
that's right. Yeah,
So
yeah, kind of sink or swim type of
exactly. Like
situation.
you have
Yeah,
no choice
you
but
have no
to
choice. Yeah,
love.
you just got to survive.
Yeah, exactly. Like yeah, they move so quick. You just have to be able to think on your feet and just execute as best as you
It
can.
honestly is the best way to learn it. I mean, at least quickly, because you'll pick it up. You're going to pick it up quickly, or you're going to get discouraged and just give up. And then
Right.
if you do that, it's probably not the right career for you anyway.
Yeah, you gotta have thick skin.
That's right. Well, when you were doing Superman, were you working mostly just you, or did they have the other, acting robots working with you, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So the only actors that were technically like I was on set with working were David and Alan. So Alan played Robot for Gary and then, obviously David. So that was really cool too, because it was literally just the three of us. And then they had, I think, one of the stunts or standing guys, play like the other robot just to say the lines like while we're doing the
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so it was really, really cool to work closely with them. I mean, I was only on set for 2 days, so it was like a very quick
Well,
job.
that's pretty
Um,
impactful for 2 days.
yeah, I mean, yeah, the scene like it wasn't really that long, but it took so long to film. Like we had to, when he comes in, we have to lift him up and carry him, and there's so many like of so much of the in between parts that
Yeah.
you don't really think about that took a long time. Um, but yeah, like it was just really honestly a surreal experience for me working with them too, because they're obviously, big actors and they have had,
Oh yeah.
successful
And
careers.
Alan is one of the funniest people I think on the planet. I mean,
Oh, he was awesome.
yeah, he's so good at comedy. Like he can do slapstick and actually make it funny, where most people try slapstick and it just looks ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. Like the way he was just like delivering his lines as, his character was just, it was incredible. Just seeing the way that he was working on set and the way he was delivering his lines and taking the notes and just how he was carrying himself. Like I definitely took a lot in from that. Just seeing that. And we were able to like talk a lot on like our in between moments. You're
Yeah.
sitting on set for 12 hours at a time. So we had a lot of time to like just talk about life, and his wife is a choreographer too, and so
Oh,
we were able
nice.
to talk about dance, and he really appreciates dancers, and so yeah, we had some great conversations. So he was really great to work with.
Yeah, yeah. I've interviewed him before, and he's pretty great. I mean,
Yeah,
he's not just a terrific actor; he's actually a pretty nice guy. He can
yeah,
get
very
it.
nice. And yeah, I'm like, it's so crazy he's had such a big part in so many like films that like I grew up watching.
Yeah.
So to work with him, I was like, oh my gosh, like how am I here? How did I get here?
No, I know. I did an interview with him. He's on the show Resident Alien, so it was a
Mhm.
cast interview. So there was 10 of them, I think, and he was on there, and of course he's the star. Um, but he went out of his way to make sure that everybody else got their time
That's so
during the panel interview. He probably talked the least of all
oh,
of them. And and you could just tell he was intentionally doing that. I thought that was pretty nice. A lot of people wouldn't, they'd be like, "It's my time."
right. Yeah, no, he's very humble and you can
Yeah,
tell.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good person to learn from. Plus, he does so much voice acting, and that's not a bad thing to get some experience in either.
Yeah, for sure. It was cute. When Superman came out, I texted him. I was like, "Congrats!" Like on that it like turned out so well, and he was like, "Yeah, like we look so shiny." I was like, "We do."
Did they give you any leeway with the lines that you had to say, or was it, you know?
So, not really, but I will say, so I was only supposed to have one line where say damage to bladder, kidney, etc.
Yeah.
But the part where I say, "Oh, he looked at me," that actually wasn't in the script. So, I wasn't, I think we split the scene up into 2 days for filming. That first whole day, I wasn't supposed to like say anything. I was just
Yeah.
supposed to like carry him in. But then at one point James Gunn came over to me and was like, "Hey, can you add this in? Can you say this really quick?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." And so that's when he told me to say, "Oh, he looked at me." And it was cool because it was like the comedic relief in the scene, and I
Oh,
was
it
able,
made the scene, I thought.
yeah, it like made it funny, and I feel like it gave my character some more personality.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that was,
it felt like maybe that wasn't an original line. Like it wasn't originally. I don't know why, but it felt that way to me. But I think it was a great addition.
yeah, yeah. So that was cool that I was able to, add that little piece of
Does that
humor.
change anything as far as the role that you're playing? If they add lines, does that change anything as far as your pay structure or anything with that?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either.
I
I don't know how
don't
that
know.
works. I don't know if it's a difference if you have one line or five lines. Or...
Yeah, I guess I'll find out when my residuals come. I don't know.
Well, the nice thing with a big budget superhero movie is they're going to be showing it forever.
Forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Those were, I mean, you're at some point you're going to be getting those, 1 cent checks.
Yes, and I'll still be grateful for those.
That's
Like,
right. That's right. Check's a check. You'll be like, you're younger, so I don't know if you've seen the Seinfeld episode where he did a Japanese commercial,
mm-mm.
and he just kept getting all these 15 cent, 5 cent checks, and he ended up getting carpal tunnel because he had to sign so many of the.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Hey, money's money.
Hey, that's right. That's right. And you got to bank. That's the nice thing about the US system is that you do get those residuals. Most of the world doesn't have that. And at least give you some type of income coming in.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
Most don't. It's just a flat rate. And
that's
then yeah. At least you get a little something. It's not enough, but at least it's a little something.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your plan going forward? Is it to keep leaning into to the acting?
Yeah, so my thing is like, dance has always been my passion and,
Yeah.
been the driving force of my whole career and life. But now that I'm stepping into acting more, I really want to be able to blend the two. I don't know what that means or how that's going to go about, but I really want to keep, like, I still have dance goals. I want to go on tour and dance for an artist and
Yeah.
do the live stuff, but I also love film so much and I love acting. And so I don't know. I want to keep doing both. And really just keep training, keep taking
Do
class.
you
And
sing?
I do sing a little bit.
I just
So
wondered, like, could you do stage work, like theater work?
yeah, I've definitely thought about that too. I think when I was living in New York for college, all of New York is Broadway. And so I was very much in that world. And at that time, I thought that that was my dream. And now that I've gotten more into film, I don't know if that's like really what I want to do anymore. If the opportunity arose and it really felt right, then
That's right.
definitely I would go for
At
it.
least it's an opportunity there.
Yeah, like it would just have to feel right for me.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's the cool thing with every job I've done so far. Like it always resonates to some degree with me. Like I'm not going to do anything that doesn't feel right.
See, I love that because most of us get kind of accidentally stuck in a career that we don't love. It's just a job, and you end up working that job for 30 or 40 years, and then you retire, but you never really love it. So if you
Yeah.
can actually enjoy what you're doing and make those choices that way, I mean, that's the best way to do
Yeah, I'm so grateful that like my life turned out this way because
it.
I've always, always been in the arts and always been a creative person, but
Yeah,
it doesn't always work out for people because it is such a hard field to get your foot in the door, but even like sustain yourself
right.
in it,
Well, do you have like what would your backup be if you weren't dancing or in acting? Is there what would you be doing?
See, I always think about this. I'm like, what else would I like? I've gotten asked this question so many times, and I'm like, I don't know what else I would do. I
Well,
think
that just shows you're in the right place.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Because it's like growing up, I was always really good in school, like made straight A's, did like the
Yeah.
AP classes and all of that. But like I only was good at it, I feel like because I worked hard and I studied a lot and cared, but it didn't necessarily come naturally to me. And people would ask me like, "Oh, what's your favorite subject in school?" And I'd be like lunch. I don't know. Like I don't have a favorite subject, even though I like made straight A's and whatever. But I don't know. I think like now I do have like other hobbies as well. Like I love fashion, I love makeup. I've gotten really into like styling and
Well,
just
maybe that would have been there. Maybe you'd still been in entertainment, but it'd been more of a
right.
stylist or a makeup artist or something.
Yeah, like it's still creative.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, nothing too like sciencey or like academic. I don't know. My brain doesn't work that way. I do love to read. So I'm like maybe one day like I might write a book. I don't know. I feel like I'm just open to whatever.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good place to be. Yeah,
Yeah,
you got
for sure.
everything ahead of you. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Wait,
And
you'd
I
asked off camera what I thought of Superman. And I told you I
yes.
saw it last week in L.A. I was so in the 90s, late 80s and 90s, I owned a couple of comic book stores. That's how I put myself through college. So I'm a big comic book guy.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's been the best. It's been the best. But I enjoyed the previous DC Superman, but with Cavill, but it was too dark for me because in my mind Superman, he's more of a Boy Scout, and he's Batman's more the dark one. You want Superman to be he's a good guy, he's a goody goody type of guy, and I thought this movie was as close as we've come to replicating that probably since Christopher Reeves. I loved it. I thought the feel, the tone of the movie was really good. It was just updated, more for modern times. But I thought they really got Superman right, and not just Superman. I thought Lois was terrific. Jimmy Olsen was. They really, you can tell James Gunn is a fan because
Yeah.
he really gets the characters pretty well, and he always brings up some that if you know comics you might know them, but if you're just a more of a movie fan, that's probably the first time, most people probably didn't know Metamorpho and some of those. So he always brings those type of characters in. So I don't know.
Mhm.
What have you seen it since it was finished?
Yeah, I've seen it twice now. I actually saw it for the second time like 2 days ago with my dad.
What do
Because
you think?
yeah, he loved it. He thought it was great. He thought it was very like complete and just enjoyable to
Yeah.
watch.
It was a
Um,
fun watch.
yeah, it was. Like it wasn't anything too like difficult to like get through. Like it was just like pleasant and like the action was great. Um,
Crypto was great.
Yeah, like it was funny. Like I really, that's one thing I really did appreciate was how like comedic it was.
Yeah.
I feel like throughout the whole thing, like the tone was just a lot more lighthearted than like you said, the
Yeah.
previous one. So I enjoyed it.
I did too. I did too. It made me hopeful that
Yeah,
it'll continue. That was a good start, I thought,
yeah, for
to bring.
sure.
And I like the fact that I've said that to my son that does podcasts with me. I've said that to him a lot. Is how many times do we need to see the origin story for the same heroes?
Right,
We know Superman, Krypton, Batman. His parents were killed coming out of the theater. Spider-Man, he got bit by a spider. We got that.
right.
And James Gunn kind of just says, all right, the kind of the story. I might give you a few little clips, but the story. We're just going to start here. And
Yeah.
I like that a lot better because we've already done the other stuff.
I thought that was very, very smart because it's like it kind of gets redundant sometimes. You're like,
Yeah,
okay, like we know what we're about to watch, even though we've never watched this. Like,
that's it. And you want something different, and he referenced it. And I like I love the fact that um, Clark's parents were actually older farmer looking type of people,
yeah.
'cause that's what it's supposed to be, where before we had stars playing his parents. And,
Yeah.
you're like, that's a good looking farming couple.
Right. No, it's true. Like this one, it felt very genuine. Like every piece of it, every character, actor, all of the set, like it just felt very genuine and real. Like I feel like the audience was able to connect to it a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good way to say it. Like my son took my grandson to see it, and let's see, he's getting ready to turn 4 here in a couple of weeks, so he's pretty young. But he loved it. Of course, he didn't really understand what's going on, but he enjoyed the action. It wasn't so bad that it was scaring him. It was right about his level. And of course, he loved crypto.
Mm-hmm. Crypto was so cute. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty. And I'm assuming most of that's CGI, but
Yeah,
it seemed real enough.
I know for sure. Yeah, like they had like a reference dog on set to,
Yeah.
have that as reference. But yeah, CGI for sure.
I know it's most of the time I prefer it without CGI, but
Hmm.
sometimes you have to have it. And if you're going to use
Yeah,
it, you might as well do it right. And I thought they did a really good job with it.
yeah. And it's like he's like a superhero dog, so he has to fly and do so much crazy stuff. So yeah, I think it was well done too.
Well, and they always like other representations of him always have him just as a well-behaved dog.
Hmm.
And most dogs aren't like that.
No.
They're kind of crazy.
Yeah,
They'll listen and they're not really doing anything bad. They're just being a dog.
right. They just have nothing going on up here,
Yeah.
and
They're just out there
but
having a good time. And that's how they played him. I don't know. I thought that was really good. But
it was relatable for sure.
yeah. Yeah. So does number 12, do we get her back in some other DC project at some point?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. I would
I'm
like to
betting we
see it.
do at some point.
I hope so. I loved playing 12. And she's a robot, so she can be fixed and
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm
we'll
saying. There's no
see.
reason you could even do the animated version.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that would be very cool. I would love to have that opportunity. So we'll see.
I'm gonna make some phone calls.
Perfect. Thank you. Anything else?
You'll be getting this. Gonna be like, we keep getting harassed by this podcaster in West Virginia.
Pull up James real quick.
Like justice for 12.
I think someone commented that on one of my TikToks. They said justice for 12. I was like, oh.
Well, I think the Gary and 12 very popular coming out.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people really related to that. Now did 12 have does she have a name, like an unofficial name?
Not so far. Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, just
Because
12.
Gary totally fit,
Yeah,
balance
I
robot.
know. It was perfect.
But I'm not sure what the name would be for 12 that would fit.
Yeah, I don't know. Because when I was hired for the job too, I was supposed to be robot. Like they gave me a different number.
Yeah.
And then it changed like twice before. And then when we were actually on set filming, um, when he says meet 12, she's new. And they say that in the lines. They I wasn't 12 at that point, but then they were like, wait, like you should be 12 because you're smaller than everyone because all of them are, like full
Yeah.
size grown men. And
So
I'm
they
like, wow,
changed it.
great. Yeah. And so they were like, oh, she's smaller than everyone too. Like it just makes sense. So that's kind of how I ended up becoming 12 because I wasn't originally like, I don't think 12, like it was in the lines either. I'm not sure. It was so long ago. I can't really remember. But yeah, so that's kind of how that came about. But yeah, I don't have a name, an official name
Yet.
yet.
All
You
right.
never
I know.
know.
I'm gonna make some calls on that too. We're gonna figure this out. Um, you've did have you? I think you did some work on Will Trent. Does that sound right?
Yes, I
Was
did.
that dancing too?
Yeah, it was just a quick little episode.
They did a lot of dancing on that show.
Yeah, it was like a line, like the actors are in a bar talking about something, and I was one of the dancers in the bar. We were doing like a line dance.
Oh, I'm sure I've seen. I watched that show, but yeah,
Yeah, I've only
I think
seen it.
that's kind of neat. I never till I started podcasting. I never thought about the dancers in shows, but you're seeing more and more of that. And yeah, you got to have people that can do that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because yeah, as dancers, we're kind of treated almost like background, but like we actually rehearse and we
Yeah,
put so
you
much
do stuff.
into it.
Yeah.
So it is very interesting because to the naked eye or to someone who isn't really in the arts, like they wouldn't think about dancers like being a big role in film or TV or whatever. But yeah, the more you pay attention to it, you're like, oh wait, like these people are actually like hired for this. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
just like people walking around in the background.
No, you're doing stuff in the background.
We're doing a lot of stuff. Like the amount of times we did that dance was crazy, but
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Have you ever worked with musicians?
um a little bit. Yeah, so I did a couple years back, Bridgerton, the show on
Oh yeah, of
Netflix.
course.
So I did the Bridgerton experience, which is like was like the live version of it.
Oh, I didn't
They
know they had a live version
Yeah,
of it.
it was like kind of like the Stranger Things experience. Like it's an
Oh,
immersive.
okay.
Yeah, so they did like a touring thing of it, and I did the one in Atlanta, and I played Maria, who was like the lead of it, and we had live music for that show. It was like a quartet of musicians, and that was really fun too because it's always fun dancing to live music.
Yeah, that's
It's
kind of neat. Yeah, I didn't realize that my wife would love that.
it was really popular. Like we sold out like the first.
Well, that shows a
Yeah, like it was
monster.
very popular. I mean, the girls love Bridgerton, and everyone came dressed up in like ball gowns and
Oh,
crowns.
that's nice.
Yeah, it was fun to like play dress up for a day for a lot of people, and a lot of people actually got engaged at it as well. I don't know why,
Interesting.
but yeah, people would like propose to their spouse like at the experience. It was like a special thing for a lot of people because I think the show was so popular.
That's
Um,
neat. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really fun. I did it for about like 2, 3 months. But it was really fun working with the musicians because, like someone would get sick and so they have to,
Yeah.
adapt to just
Well,
playing with
that's
two.
stage acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's doing live stuff is always such a rush. I love that so
No, that's
much.
pretty cool. That's pretty good. Now that you've done action, is there a genre that you would like to do that you haven't done?
Yeah. Definitely something more dramatic I would love to
Yeah, yeah.
do.
You could
I
do you
definitely
could do drama, I'm sure.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like comedy stuff kind of I don't know. I could get into it, but I'm definitely a lot more drawn to the to drama. I do want to do more action though, because I grew up dancing and a lot of it involves like fight choreography. I want to get more into that for sure. But then on the other side of it, something a little more serious. I would love to tap into.
So I've got your pitch. I've got
Okay.
you a series like a murder mystery and a Hallmark movie. But
Oh.
but the pitch is very similar. So you're a dancer
Uh-huh.
in a small town and you got to get out of there. This
Okay.
town's holding you back. So you make a big deal, you getting out. You go to the big city and you're very successful, but you have a horrible accident and you get hurt. You can't dance anymore. So if it's the uh, drama or the murder mystery, then somewhere in there you accidentally fall into solving a crime, like a
Mm,
murder. You're not dancing anymore. You're kind of down on your luck. Something happens so that you end up going that direction. So there's one.
I love
Or
it.
the Hallmark movie is you can't dance anymore, so you dejectedly go back to your hometown that you made such a big deal about leaving,
Uh-huh.
and you're expecting them to really give you a hard time, and they actually kind of embrace you. And it just so happens that your old dance class, the teacher has retired and they need a new dance teacher. And so then you become dance teacher. Somewhere in there, you fall in love. There's your Hallmark movie.
I love it. Hey, I receive it all. I love it. That would be so fun.
I
Honestly,
predict
yeah,
at some point you'll do some type of Christmas Hallmark type of movie.
sure, for sure. You can't, like, I love that. I would love to be a part of either of those.
Well, yeah, at some point you're going to be in a role where you're acting and dancing.
Yeah. And that's the goal for me right now. Like I said earlier, I want to be able to blend the two, and maybe one day the perfect role will come along for that. Because I don't want to ever stop. Obviously, I'm gonna get older and my body's not gonna be able to do what it used to do, but I want to be able to like blend the two while I can, you know.
There was a show on Netflix a few years ago. I'd interviewed Lauren Holly, and she was running a dance school, and there was one of the students was murdered, I think, and you were solving the crime, but it was like
Uh-huh.
a ballet school.
Yeah.
But
I know.
you need something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's another thing too, is like a lot of it, I think with dance being the main subject of the film or show, sometimes it can get a little bit like the stories kind of like get the same and it can be a little bit redundant, or like I don't know, like I'm just excited to hopefully soon see something dance related where it's like a whole new story that the world has never seen before, because I
Yeah,
feel like a lot of them kind of become similar, and it's just like,
yeah, we
okay,
need something new.
yeah, we do. So I don't know, it's in the future maybe.
I don't know what it is. I'm an idea guy though. Maybe I'll come up with it,
Yeah,
and then I'll
let me
just throw
know.
it out there, and somebody else has to do it.
Right, let me know.
It's a lot easier just throwing stuff out there and seeing if it sticks.
Right,
A little
exactly.
harder if you actually think, well, okay, now how am I going to do that?
Yeah, it's better if someone else can kind of.
Yeah, let somebody else do it.
Someone's good at that.
Well, Grace, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time with us. I think you're just getting started, but you're so talented and you started so big. I mean, people don't start on a big studio movie. That just doesn't happen. But you got yourself out there. I'm excited to see what you do next.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited for what the future holds, and I don't know, it's in God's hands. So I'm just here.
Hopefully it holds a little bit more of number 12. I think we'd all like to see more of her.
Yeah, me too. I would like to see that as well.
It seems like one of those that in the animated space, when at some point there'll be a Superman cartoon. Okay, but it seems like that could be an episode of the cartoon where they just have an episode focused on the robots.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Oh my
That'd be
gosh.
kind of neat.
The
Maybe they
super,
get into some type of misadventure.
yeah. Hey, I would watch that. Like that's
I
really
would
cool.
do.
The Superman robots are epic. Like getting to play one was such a dream, truly.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have to do a lot of choreography with it?
Not really. It was more so just like getting a hold of them, like how we move, how we
Yeah.
run to go pick them up, how we bend down, like the way we couldn't just bend down like a normal human. Like we had to bend down like straight from our legs and not move our back, and like, very stiff
Yeah, it has
leg,
to be stiff.
walk kind of like this. So it wasn't anything too crazy. It was more so just like
Well, did you
it,
have those times where somebody moved wrong? Did they stop and restart?
um not really. I think the only time we would have to like restart is if we weren't like all in sync. Like when we bend down to pick
Oh,
them up,
right, right.
we had to count, 3, 2, 1, and
Yeah,
then
because
we
you're
would
robots. You're supposed to be kind of in sync. Yeah.
in sync exactly. So, but other than that, like what we were doing action wise wasn't too hard because I didn't do any of like the actual fight scenes.
Right.
So it was
Which would have
really,
been cool.
which would have been cool, yeah. But
That's for the next time.
right, exactly. I'm like, they had the pros doing like the actual stunts, people doing that. So
I don't know. With your background dance, you could totally do stunts, I think.
yeah. I've done like one little thing in Descendants, but it was very, it's Disney. So it was like not even a near miss. Like it was very like easy.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything like crazy, but I would definitely love to get into stunts. I think I have so much respect for it. And the more roles I play and the more bigger roles I play, like I want to be able to do my own stunts
Yeah, of
too.
course.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely
I think that's something you'll end up doing. I'm
yeah,
guessing
yeah.
at some point. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Grace, so before I let you go, a couple little things. Is there anything else that you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
Um, well, I just filmed I was a dancer in this
Yeah.
film, but it's called Otra. It's a Tyler Perry film. I just filmed it a couple weeks ago in Atlanta. I don't know when it's coming out though, probably in like a year or so. So
Like
that's
a Netflix type of movie or show?
I actually don't know where it's gonna be streamed, but it's a film. So um maybe Amazon. I honestly have
Oh,
no
it could
idea.
be. It could be.
Yeah, yeah.
He's so talk about busy. He does
Right.
so much.
Yeah. So much. So it was really cool to be a part of that. And I
But
had
yeah,
worked,
because it's all good.
yeah,
I mean, he's talented, talented. That's good. That's a cool. So we
yeah.
can keep an eye. But you're dancing in that
I'm dancing in that. Yep. And then acting wise, nothing so far. I'm still auditioning and
one. Yeah. Are you
trying
auditioning remotely or in person?
remotely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever
Usually
get to did you ever get to do it in person?
no, usually they'll only really call you back like in person. If you get a call back, usually your first initial submission is always going to be a self tape.
Yeah.
And then thankfully with Robot 12, I didn't even have to do a callback. It was just a one and done situation, which
Oh,
was
that's
really
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unusual too.
Right. I know. 'Cause I totally forgot about it after I auditioned because, you audition for so many things. You just move on to the next,
Yeah.
you don't really hold on to it. And it was months later that I found out that I even booked it. So yeah, it was a nice surprise. And it was
I
like the
think
day before my birthday.
that's oh that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's one of 100 reasons why I could not act, but I would hold every audition too tightly.
Yeah, you
Like it
can't.
would bug me every one, and I don't. If you did enough of those, it wouldn't take long. I'd just be overwhelmed. I'd be like,
Yeah,
I'd be
well,
down if I hadn't heard anything back. But that's just kind of how it works. You got to move on, and maybe it comes back around, maybe it doesn't.
you can't be emotional about it. And it's hard because pouring into the character, you have to be emotional.
Yeah,
But then when it comes to like the work side of it, you're like, okay, like
yeah, you got
move
to
it.
be detached.
Yeah, you just have to, or
Yeah,
else
I
you'll be
struggle
sad.
with that, I think. Okay,
Yeah.
Grace. Last thing before I let you go is where can we find you on social media?
On social media, my Instagram is grace.chan.
Yeah.
And my TikTok is Grace to the Face, but there's two A's. So like GRAACE and then to the and then FAACE. So
Oh,
that's
very
my
nice.
TikTok.
Are you
Um,
dancing on TikTok?
a little bit. My TikTok's kind of a little all over the place.
Well,
So
that's what it's for.
right, exactly. Yeah, it's a little bit random, but I have more of my dance stuff on my Instagram.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
post more of my like work
Yeah.
situation on Instagram. So
Yeah, Instagram's good for posting your pictures of what you're doing and what you're eating. That's the
exactly. Yeah, it's
TikTok's
like
kind of just the random stuff that pops in.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Instagram's more of like my resume. If you just
Right.
want, what I look like, what work I've done, so
Yeah. Well, Grace, open invitation. When the next big thing comes, just holler and we'll do it again.
yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, this has been great. Thank you so much. This is we were supposed to do this yesterday and one of us got the times wrong. I won't say who it was.
Hey, everything happens for a reason, okay? We made it happen.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I'm in such a good mood today. So it was a good day to do
Hey, me too.
it. All right, Grace. Hold on one second. Well, how nice was Grace Chan? She was awesome. Put up with my nonsense. We were supposed to talk yesterday, and I got the times mixed up. Which happens. Those of you that watch the show know that I'm struggling with a new Parkinson's diagnosis. It's not that new. I've had it for about a year, but I'm still kind of figuring out the medicine and what works best for me, when it works best. And one of the issues I'm having is that things get mixed up in my head. and it short-term memory is giving me problems, which you'll notice sometimes on camera, because I will misremember something that is unusual for me. Usually that stuff just comes right to me. Last year or so, I've really struggled with some of the short-term stuff, and it's also causing me some problems with times and stuff. So I've taken some steps, to do a little better. Normally, I just write it down in my little notebook that I got an interview. I'm kind of old school, but I'm trying to embrace some technology to make sure that I don't miss any more scheduled interviews. If you're watching, you notice something, one thing I tend to move in and out. That's I used to think it was just me, but that's more of a Parkinson thing. So if you notice that stuff, that's all that's going on. I'm fine. I'm getting a handle on it. It's improving daily. So I'll get it figured out, but it's still causing me a little bit of trouble. Grace is terrific. If you haven't seen Superman, because maybe you're suffering from superhero burnout, or you're disappointed in how Marvel and DC have been operating recently, although Marvel's been improving lately, which is a good sign. Superman's terrific. If you're a comic book fan, especially, it is fantastic. I think it's as close as we've come to the 78 Superman as we've gotten. Pretty sure Christopher Reeve's son has a cameo in the movie. It's fantastic. I loved it, and this coming from a lifelong comic book fan. I thought it was terrific. So take that as you will, and keep an eye out for Grace. Just a fantastic talent. I think we're going to see her in so many more things, and we'll bring her back on. We'll get her back on. We've got other actors coming from Superman, so if you're a fan, keep an eye out for those as well. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. Really helps us out. Our website's meistercon.com. Right now, there's 1,010 episodes. You can find audio and video versions of all of our episodes on the website, meistercon.com. So please check us out there as well. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.